Yeah, not so much light as you see, but it will get more light. And you can look at life in that way as well. Maybe there's not so much light, but there will be coming more light. There's the circles, the cycles in many different aspects. So you can hear the birds maybe on the background. If you are at this place where I'm sitting now, 1 hour from now, the sounds are completely different, the light is completely different. It's not anymore the same spot. But if you would come back here in 1 year and the weather conditions are more or less similar at the same time, you probably hear the same sounds. And if you would make these structures and these trees, this composition of trees and plants, which human can make pretty much, if you would put it somewhere else in this region of the world, the symphony of sounds are probably very, very similar. So I thought this video as a next chapter on the videos of empowering the natural positive evolution. I had a look at the previous video, which is in the channel, where I left it, and that was in December. And of course, life doesn't stop, yeah. But there's cycles, also within me, also within you, in nature. And so there were periods that I was less active on this super intriguing journey. There were moments, but still it's continuing. And many things happened. So in December, well, December, one of the things, big things, the solstices and the equinoxes, they are big. That I understood, they are big moments. So I came on this from the, you may remember from the previous video, that I noticed there were these energy points, and I had noticed a very big jump in my self-development after connecting with such a point. A very, very big jump. And that made me, on the one hand, look for these kind of places. Um, and it made me grow, of course, and it made me aware of that maybe the world slightly functions different than what I thought. And so that was, and when I was 1 year, about 1 year ago in Germany, then I had this special moment that I said I want to look for these power points, these energy points, these nuts in the ley lines or the ley centers, as later on I discovered they may be called, at least in some philosophies or ideas. So I said I wanted to connect with those places, and then I couldn't find them yet on Google, and I couldn't find them yet in the via persons asking. But as I invited that idea, it just started to pop up like mushrooms around me, which was really, really fascinating. So that brought me, as I'm just summarizing a bit of this previous video, it brought me from energy points and trees to also to churches. And then I started the journey to look for, I wanted to look more actively for these places and find out how during the travels I can figure out where are those places. So I will put a few of the ideas or the, the learnings I had there. I will put down in the description of this video, so you can have links to find also by yourself these places in Europe at least. And it's a huge journey. It was very fascinating. Um, it's a journey with intuition, with self-development, and mm, connecting with special places in a very magical way, but at the same time in parallel having a very magical life, that things work out very beautiful. And that's why I'm back with this video on empowering the natural positive evolution, because I believe that our nature and the nature of the earth is that there's an evolution, and this is naturally positive. But we have ideas, concepts, philosophies, and a lot of other eco aspects that are maybe interfering with this. And when you connect with these energy points, it's a way that allows the parts of the maybe the brain that are actively searching for solutions. So the active brain that is trying to figure out how to be living this marvelous world, how to create that for this individual and for the rest of the world. So that part is interfering with this natural flow. At least that's how I look to it. And when you are at such an energy point, then there is somehow that it's easier to meditate, to get peace in your brain, which allows that, to allow the river to flow in a natural way. Yeah, so not going against the current, but just allow it to go as it naturally wants to go. Well, these energy points, I dived into it, and in the previous video I already mentioned that I came to Rory Duff, that he is, among others, he's a geobiologist, fantastic guy, look for him on the internet. He really has done a lot of research on the ley lines and ley centers, and has published a lot about this, books and also information for free on the internet, so have a look at that. But he is also dosing, and he was the one who 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 inspired me with not with the dosing, but who explained me a bit why it works. And I could see at this that in my journey I could see that I could stimulate parts in my body or in my being, so that I would see the signs that are important for me in life. So as I was going on the energy journey and learning on the energy points, and discovered that of course the pyramids, among others, they are also created on such places, then all of a sudden it brought me, of course, from the pyramids, and it brought me to the also to the Knight Templars that apparently were developing then the cathedrals and other the other certain places, yeah, that they developed. They were developed also on these places. So as I activated that part in me that I wanted to find more of those places, then all of a sudden, within a few kilometers from me, signs I could recognize structures in the landscape that called my attention all of a sudden, even though I had seen them already many years. But all of a sudden they were put in my brain like with attention, and I could see the shapes, and I could see recognize the symbols, and I said, whoa, it was all the time there, I never saw it. But all of a sudden the the subconscious made a trigger to put it in my awareness. So I said, that's very funny. And at the same time I was listening and reading some more information from Rory Duff, explaining on the dowsing, that actually the dowsing, they are those sticks here that you can they use for finding water, finding gold, different things. And in the past they used those sticks for finding these places where to develop a church, for example. And also that means that it was accepted at that time by different levels of society, that it worked one way or another. So I was curious how to use it, and then I listened to this YouTube from Rory that I will put here, a link down here, that he explained that it is a you have to develop a communication between this thing that you are looking for when it's present in your field, that when you establish that your being recognizes that, you make it's recognized in an area of the brain. I think it is related now with this pineal gland area, which is also said to be like the third eye area. So that there is a, when that third eye observes this, what you want to detect or what is important for you, also positive things, yeah, that when it's detected, then it triggers movement, and you can stimulate that. That triggers your movement of the hands, making move these rods. So he explained that very nicely. So then I said, yeah, I noticed that I was stimulating my area in the brain to put in attention the things that are important for me on this energy journey. And as it was related with the pyramids, then came science related with the pyramids. When there was related with the Knight Templars, there came the science popping up. Um, and not just science, but all kinds of experience. Even the bill in the shop was 3.14 euros I had to pay at a certain point when I was just watching the documentaries on the pyramids with the phi and with the p numbers. Um, so it was very funny interaction happening between my experiences and my ideas and what was popping up. So the dosing you can use to detect something that is there. But first of all, you will have to train yourself and your being to know what it is. And then we get to the law of attraction things, which go also marvelous. Like if you want to recognize a big pile of gold, if your being needs, or if you want your being to recognize a big pile of gold, that is a lot easier if you have been in touch with this. So your being knows how it is, how it feels. And so relating this with the law of attraction, it's fantastic because then if you relate it with the law of attraction, then you can especially visualize, materialize things that you already know how it feels, how it is to be there. And like if you look to watch The Secret, you see the visualization board is important, but also it's important to connect really in a way like it is already done. And that's one of the things we did in our journey also to get our house. That was fantastic. We already gave an opening party before it was ours. It was super. Um, but anyway, so with the dosing, that works a bit like that. You have to know what it is, and then you teach your being body to make a connection at the moment that you are in this area where there is this present nearby in a certain distance that maybe even you define, that there is a certain response. Very fascinating. So I subscribed to the course with Dory directly, but yeah, then somehow my journey also there's cycles, and something happened, and I will not go into details. I even don't know exactly what happened, but something happened that I got a bit off track of this journey, and then yeah, of course, it's also priorities. Um, we have bought a house or financial priorities, and then I got some jobs, and anyway, it happened that I had a plane from one country to go to Rory the weekend. It would be a Sunday, was perfect, but I couldn't go there because I was in another country and there were no planes going to the, so something like that. And it was not because of COVID, also a little bit because there were not many planes in general. But it was just no connecting flights to get back on time on the job, so it didn't work. So I didn't go. But anyway, um, a lot of things happened, and I have contact with Rory now directly via email, which is fantastic, and he's super. And what turns out to be is a lot of things, a lot of synchronicity is happening, keeps on happening, and I see that. And so very nicely he has put information on the internet. You can see about these ley lines, and the center of these ley lines, where is this energy connection. And Rory explains very much that this is, for him, at least for him, it's very much related with the trembling, with the sound of the earth. Yeah, so the earth has a sound. Yeah, there's this deep sound. And when he was measuring the ley lines, he discovered that the ley lines were not having the same width continuously, but there was like a pulsation. You know? There was like a trembling that he could measure the width changed with time, but in a rhythm. So every 6 hours it moved, or every 24 hours, some of them they moved in a certain distance. And depending on the person who's measuring it, there was a different distance, but still the, let's say, the pulsation or this trembling, this frequency was similar. So he said, well, maybe not suggest, but he describes that it's like a sound trembling, like a wave, like waves going over the earth. And then when those waves, where they cross, certain kinds of waves they cross, is where there's an intersection. And at that intersection, there's coming a certain accumulation, maybe, or certain shapes of energies are coming there. And these shapes of energies is when he makes drawings on that how the movement of the energy goes. It's a bit like a spring, like a fountain. Yeah, this a funnel shape of energy. well, this is maybe you just have a look into his information, but in the sensations that I've had with this energy, I have noticed that kind of a, yeah, I can recognize that kind of a structures in the feelings, which is very special. But among others, he is also saying that especially there's certain moments in the year, and that's around the solstice and the equinox, that these moments are, or that these the energies are maybe not stronger but more balanced. And I have made a video on the YouTube also about this equinox experience, not experience, but description, that Sadguru also made some information that the spiritual people, they are talking about this equinox and and solstice. They are very valuable moments in the year, and moments for your personal growth. Yeah, so your spiritual growth. And Sadhguru explains that it is related with the masculine and the feminine. They are most in balance at that moment in time. And putting things together, I guess that there is a movement of the stars, of the earth, of the planets, and these movements, they are having this rhythm, yeah. And at a certain moment, there is this, like it cannot go, doesn't go wider, it goes back, like when you have this pendulum line going up and down, yeah, then it's going there. Before it goes back, there is a moment that it's, there must be a moment that there is zero, almost zero movement. There's this turn, yeah, and at that moment maybe it is like there is this most peaceful state. So somehow Sadhguru explains that there is this moment is the most balanced for the person, and that's why it's the equinox and solstice moments. They can be used for this personal growth and your personal development very well. Rory describes that these nuts, the energy nuts as he calls them, and so the leycentra, that there it's especially the best moment to be there, and it's the strongest effect. And there is this like a funnel thing happening is around these solstice moments. And yeah, if this is then related with the sound and with the vibration of the earth and the energy streams, then yeah, I can imagine that this is also like the season is turning, so that there is also like a silent moment in these energy things, in the electromagnetic fields, which actually this kind of energy we're talking about in the frequency, it's not measured with machines because it's much lower, much more smaller, I think, microhertz levels, than the machines can measure. But by the width of the ley lines and this pulsation, you can calculate what would be the, the frequency of this. So apparently there is at that time of the year, there is the funnel shape where this energy is stronger, helping with these moments. Then we get back to the pyramids now. That of course the pyramids and also many megalithic sites, they were oriented, and also the Stonehenge oriented to this um, moment of the solstice. I think solstice, maybe equinox. I'm still learning on these things. But anyway, maybe both. That the orientation is just perfectly in line with the sun at that moment. So these previous cultures, they already had put their megalithic structures in a way that there was alignment with that. And also, the churches and so the cathedrals from the Lord Templars, I believe they were also in this orientations. So other cultures already realized that there was an important moment with this. I'm not going into what it was allowing them in this sense. That of course we also don't know, but we can see that different from different directions, this is an important moment. And one of the things that happened to me personally is that I didn't understand the solstice ideas, and I'm meditating and everything, but I didn't get into that topic until last year. And then I opened up for that, and then spontaneously there was a group session with meditating together on one point. I went there I guess it was in December. Also, we went to a certain ceremony in September, by not by chance, of course. They were popping up on my life journey. Um, and then more recently, we had this also another one. But what I noticed myself is that after this solstice moment, I didn't feel that good. And what I think it happens is that it is functioning like a loop. Yeah. So when you're good and you're growing and you're marvelous, then this loop is amplifying things. But the same happens when you have certain issues to work on. So it's the perfect moment to work on those issues because it facilitates them and they come maybe also more to the surface. So you can grow if you dive in, if you work with it. And I think I didn't work that much with it. So I noticed like a lot of movements internally, but I didn't convert it. Like I say, you can convert them into steps to reach another level. And so that's what I'm going to do next solstice moment. I will use it. I will go and combine it. Anyway, so Rory explains that there is just this rhythm in the earth which makes these vibrations, and then this has something to do with us as a person. And what, I don't know. I think it influences this vibration. When you connect with some vibration, you can start to tremble in the same way. So if this is a positive frequency, that's why is this topic here, the natural positive evolution. So if this is a natural energy that is trembling in a certain way, and we can get that into our being to tremble together, then it can even get into resonance, which is positive. But also you start to tremble in this more natural frequency, which is the positive. Whereas when we are in our brain and with our fears and with our stress, then our frequencies are in a different way. So another way of speaking, as Bruce Lipton explains, that when we are in our life, we go through different life stages, and at different life stages, we have different capacity with the brain and a different kind of frequency again in the brain. That the brain waves have a certain frequency, and so the first 2 years of the life, the outside the body, at least, let's start there. It's a bit late, I think, but anyway, first 2 years out of the body, then the baby is like having a frequency, and I'm not going to call the names because I mix them still, but a frequency that is like a bit of a sleeping state. Yeah, that the adults have that also in the sleeping stage. And then from 2 till 7, the kids, they have, apart from this sleeping frequency, they have also this meditative frequency, which is the level on which meditative state anything is possible, and the imagination is bigger, and there is world functions in a different way, and it's the state that we as adults connect with to get this inner peace state and to get the natural flow of things going. And so that's between the 2 and 7 years, and then from 7 till 12 years there's another frequency, which is maybe that is also more, no, that's not anymore this imaginary state, but it is developing, and you can still learn very well. Then later we get the brain waves get most of the time in an active working state, working wave frequency. So he explains that very nice. I will put also a nice link to one of his videos on this. And this is very important now because this meditating on these energy points, meditating in itself, it allows us to go to that, connect with that meditative state, this frequency waves, to connect with a part of the brain activity that is allowing much more the natural flow. And when we are in this more natural flow, things fall into place. So all the ego things, they are released, and you can then use that for growing, or at least you can be back like a resetting. And so that's why we meditate, or that's not maybe why you meditate, but it's one of the things what happens with meditation. So also as an adult we do that. But then if you do this meditation at such a beautiful, the trees I didn't mention in this story, but at such a beautiful tree, yeah, or at such a energy nut, a leycentra, then that is a place where naturally already there is the conditions on the earth, and the vibration there is already naturally more positive. Maybe I think maybe that allows you more to connect with that kind of frequencies naturally, So it helps to be more in peace. But if you meditate on that place, then you have a one plus a one. I said it maybe in the other video too. It's, you are meditating on a place where there is already naturally a more peaceful state that you connect with. But the one plus one would then not be one and one, two, but it would be like 11. Then if you do that on a place that is of these crossings of these energy lines, these ley lines, these nuts, if you do that on those places around the equinox, then you have a third condition of the earth that allows naturally a more peaceful state. So then you get a meditation together with a natural spot that is positive, and then at a cycle moment in the earth that there is this easier connection. That's then you get a 111. So you get a not a 3, but you get a like a 111 value. It's like amplifying. And then if you do that together with other persons, loving persons or persons with another this positive frequency, if it is a frequency that they have this state of being and this life and love energy, this life energy, then if you're doing that together with other beings that are so beautiful, then you have a fourth one. Yeah. And that like that there's a few more things that you can do in life. So it's super fascinating. But so that's why maybe at these equinoxes and solstice moments, they are perfect moments to really connect with yourself and allow this stronger growth of your self-awareness. At the same time, it allows much more to connect with this, let's call it this meditative state and condition in which nearly anything is possible. And there we get to how you can use that for materializing things in your life. I don't know how it works. I just know that it works. Yeah. And that's if you watch The Secret, you see it works. But why and how, I don't know. But there is these kind of things you can do to stimulate that. So at the moment that you are there in that meditative, oh, I forgot the dream stage, but the meditative stage, yeah, then then you have this possibility to really connect with a kind of a sensations and a kind of a state that allows you to feel something that, well, when you feel it, it is there, and that is with the law of attraction what you get to. So if you do this meditation and you do your visualization practices on those places around those states, it is empowered even more. Yeah. So I will leave it by now. It's a long video already, maybe for you. I hope you liked it. Give a like and leave some comments. It's just a little part of this fantastic journey, and there's a lot more to it. So this week I am in this intuition and listening to this what coming from the inside, and it's fantastic, and on connecting with the how this connection we have, how everything is in the field. So that will be maybe for the next video. Yeah? Everything is in the field and how you can connect with that, and how, yeah, well, anyway, it's a fantastic life. Enjoy it while you're here, and maybe we can also work on enjoy it when you're not here anymore. Yeah. Even better. No, not to, yeah, anyway. Enjoy your day. Bye.